Hello, everybody. Welcome to the August version of Lunch with the Mayor. So glad to have you here. As you can see, I have a guest today. This is Jeff Wyke, who's the Executive Director of the Center for Whitley County Youth. Welcome. Glad to have you here.
Thank you.
As always, if you have questions and you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, please feel free to put those in the comments. We'll try to get to those as soon as possible. If you are watching later on YouTube, as always, you can email me at rdaniel@columbiacity.net, or you can call our office at 260-248-5111. So with that, let's get into chatting about the center. So let's first start with you, Jeff. Who are you? What's your background? What's your position? What are you to the community?
Yeah, Jeff.
That's a loaded
Wyke.
question, right? I'm sorry.
It is,
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm Jeff Wyke. I am the executive director at the center, which happens to be right across the street from
Yes.
this office.
Right behind us.
Yep. And I've been there for 21 and a half years. So kind of that initial vision to get the center off the ground happened in 2005.
Wow.
Which is hard to believe.
I didn't realize it had been that long.
I know.
So, my goodness.
Sometimes I forget that it's been that long, but it has, oddly enough. And married to my wife for 24 years. We just celebrated our 24th anniversary.
Any big plans for 25?
Or
you don't want to spoil the surprise?
No, I don't plan that far ahead.
Oh, okay.
So. But okay. I do want to plan something. So we'll see what we're going to do.
Very good.
So, and I got three boys. One college age, a senior in high school, and then a freshman.
Okay.
So.
Here in our Whitley County?
No, we're at Black Hawk Christian.
Black Hawk Christian. Okay.
So that it's a long story, but that's how we ended up over in Northwest Allen.
Very cool.
So they're over there for now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about the center. Let's start again. Let's focus on you for a moment. So what brought you to the center? How'd you become the executive director? All those kind of things. We'll talk about what the center is here in a moment, but tell us kind of that path.
Yeah. So in college, I had a professor that I really liked and got to know him, and he just happened to be a pastor over here in Columbia City at the time.
Oh. Okay.
And so I got to know him a little bit, and so then my wife, and I wasn't my wife at the time, but my current wife and I got connected over here with that church because of my relationship with him.
Yeah.
And he ended up becoming a mentor of mine throughout my college years, and then even post-college. And he and his wife did our premarital counseling and just invested a lot in us. And his name was Dan Gregory, and Dan was involved with the group of people that had the initial vision for what to do with this old building across the street from here.
Okay.
And said, they outgrew that space, moved into another one, but instead of doing what a lot of churches do, which is fine, they sell their old building off to help pay for the new one. They said, what if we hold on to this and find a way to serve the community and meet a need in some way? And so then, as they were thinking and praying about how that should be used, they realized that there was just this group of young people in the community that was falling through the cracks, and there was nothing for them. And that is how the center was birthed. And because I wasn't a part of that kind of early visioning process at all, but because of my relationship with him, when it came time for them to hire the first director, he tapped me on the shoulder and said, Jeff, I think you should put your name in the hat for that job. And I had no idea what it took to start a nonprofit or to run a nonprofit. Or
what was your degree in?
Biblical studies and youth ministry.
And youth, so a little connection.
I had a heart for young people.
Yes, okay.
And so there was a connection there, but I didn't know anything about kind of starting a nonprofit or running a nonprofit.
Yes.
And so I put my name in the hat, and they offered me the role. And
wow.
At the time, when I took the role, I said, I'll give you 2 years, but my plan is to move to Fort Wayne and to help plant churches. I wanted to help start new churches. That's what I thought I was going to do. And that was 21 and a half years ago. I'm still here, still doing it, and still enjoying it.
Yes.
So,
well, that's really cool.
So that's how it got started.
And it's always interesting to me. I've done a lot of these Lunch with the Mayor interviews, if you will, with individuals, conversations, we'll say. And there are so many of those that start with somebody tapping you on the shoulder. So always, someone that says, "I think you would be good at that," right? And I think that's a really cool. I guess in some ways I'll say the word testimony of how individuals can really influence and impact the direction of your life just because they have confidence and faith in you, right?
Yeah.
And in your abilities. And that's really neat.
Yeah, because he saw something in me that I didn't know was there yet.
Sure.
Right. So,
Yes. That's so neat. And so the position was the executive director.
Yeah.
Right. And it had how many staff at that time?
I had
One?
one staff at that
One
time.
staff at that time.
Shortly after, we did add another
Yes.
part-time position to kind of help me
Sure.
run some programs, but
Yeah.
it was pretty tiny and very grassroots and
Gotcha.
very simple in the early years, while we were trying to figure out how to make it happen and
Sure.
what kids needed and how to do it. So,
Absolutely.
lots of volunteers back then.
So in that role, and then like I said, we'll switch over to what it is that center actually does. But what are your roles and responsibilities? What do you do as executive director? And maybe the question is more, what do you do now versus what you did when it started?
Yeah. So in the very early years, we started with an after-school program for middle school students, and then we had kind of a Friday night thing that took some different forms early on for high school students. And back then, I was the guy that was planning those things, organizing and recruiting the volunteers,
Probably
whatever.
running sound, emceeing, doing everything. Yes.
Helping set up,
Yes.
plan. I mean, there's nothing that happened in that building that I didn't have my hands in because that was just what it took.
That's the
back
role.
then. So,
Any nonprofit leader, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
you are the everything.
yes, I'm fixing when the basement floods. I'm down there with a shop vac,
Yeah.
cleaning it out,
Yes.
and when something's wrong with the furnace, I'm starting to figure out how to
Yes.
fix that thing.
Yes.
So yeah, it was a little bit of everything.
Gotcha.
Which is
Okay.
so that's how it looked
Started, yeah.
in the early years, and then obviously over time as we grew, more and more responsibility, more things happening, that the team had to grow with
Yeah.
it, and so my role has had to adjust incrementally through the years. Which has been good, and it's kind of kept it interesting for
Yeah.
me, and it's stretched me as a
Yeah.
leader because I've had to learn how to lead differently
Sure.
in all of those different kind of variations of
Yeah.
the organization's life cycle. So now my role is a lot more kind of overseeing the staffing teams, making sure that our people have what they need to do their jobs.
Sure.
I kind of live in the big picture strategy world
Okay.
a lot, just making sure that we're missionally focused in
Yeah.
the right way, that the organizational culture is healthy. I do a lot of the grant writing. So I still get in there and try to spend some time with kids and be around the
Sure.
programs and stuff when I can, but I get to do that a lot less than I used
Yeah.
to. So
Yeah.
we've got a great staff team. They do a lot of that work now.
So you went more from the everything hands-on to more of the leadership direction kind
Yeah,
of.
I'm a lot
scenario,
more
so-
behind the scenes
Yes.
now than I used to.
Yes.
In fact, I'm primarily behind the scenes,
Yes.
which in some ways I've kind of grown to like that,
Sure.
just to be able to help everybody else do
Right.
their jobs well,
Sure.
and instead of having to be the guy up
The
front.
support system more
Yes.
than the guy, if you will.
Yeah.
So okay, so we've hinted around at it. What is the center? Obviously, you already talked about it. It's located right behind us here on Market Street
Yep.
and Market and Chauncey, effectively, right? I don't know what the official address is.
201 West Market.
West Market. Okay, it is Market Street. So literally right across from City Hall, catty corner from the courthouse square. But what is the center? And that is a big question because the center is a lot of things. But what is
Yeah.
the center?
The simplest description is we are a youth development organization, and our goal is to create opportunities to help grow up healthy young people.
Mm-hmm.
And that looks a lot of different ways, and it's looked differently throughout the years. The simplest way that we like to talk about it is we like to offer something that young people want so that we can also offer them what they need.
Oh,
And
okay.
so we do whatever that takes
Mm-hmm.
to give young people a reason to want to get together, so that then we have opportunities to surround them with learning experiences, healthy environments, and then really our heart is to put caring adults in their lives so that we can mentor and
Yes.
guide and have healthy influence in young people.
Mhm.
So obviously I was very fortunate to have mentors in my life and know
Yeah.
what difference that made. And so
Yeah.
we're creating opportunities for that to happen.
Yeah.
Whereas these students and then regular adults in the community don't necessarily cross paths naturally. And
Sure.
so we're creating opportunities for that to
Yeah.
happen. So that looks, again, a lot of different ways. Probably not enough time to kind of go into all the different
Yes.
programs, but you know, we are kind of our core programs. We still have an after school central program for middle school students.
Okay.
We have that here in Columbia City. We have a site in South Whitley as well that serves Whitco students. And then we shuttle Busco students that want to come down to our Columbia City site as well.
Gotcha.
And that's homework help. There's fun and games. It's healthy snacks. They have weekly STEM activities. It's life skill stuff. And then again, obviously the mentoring is the thread that works its way into all of that. And so it's again a mix of fun, but also learning in that. We have a high school like job training and leadership development program.
Okay.
Again, that's mentoring focused, but
Yes.
again, they're getting experiences that help them learn what it takes to get a job.
And that's
keep a
for high school
job.
students, you
That's
said?
for high school
Okay.
students. And
Okay.
again, that happens here in Columbia City and in South Whitley. We have another program called Ground Zero, which is that also happens at both locations. That's a partnership with Campus Life that we have. They do a weekly meal, and then we do just topical discussions like anything and everything that teenagers encounter. We talk about that stuff. And then that's mixed in with community adults. They're kind of having those conversations with them and helping students engage with those things and learn how to think about them and how to process that. And then we do some life coaching where we've got staff that meet one-on-one with students, kind of try to figure out who they are, what their needs are, and then help them set goals to figure out how to do that, how to move forward. And then we encourage, but we also hold them accountable to those goals that they set. And that's been something that we've developed the last handful of years that we really like. And then probably the last thing that's more recent that I love is a project. It's one of my favorite things we're doing. It's called the Thrive Challenge.
Okay.
It is a gamified app, almost like a digital scavenger hunt,
Okay.
where we've set out this whole list of these missions that mostly high school students. We just piloted our first year. We had 61 high school students doing that. And the missions are laid out in this app and they get points for it. They compete against each other. And it's like all of these things that are life skill based, leadership, entrepreneurialism, career exploration, manufacturing and STEM activities, all of these experiences that kids maybe in the course of their normal life aren't nobody's teaching them how to do these things, but they're things that all of us as adults have to figure out how to do at some point. In a lot of cases, we got to learn how to do that, but today it's a little different. They don't always have that. And they're kind of on their own, self-guided, with a little bit of prompting and encouragement and resourcing, but they're working their way through this challenge. And then at the end of it, if they complete it, they get all the points they need to work through the categories. They get a scholarship of about $1,000 to go towards. It could be a college, but it can also go toward anything that is a learning experience that helps them move towards their career aspiration.
Okay. So it could be a trade school, could be a certification, could be any of that
training,
stuff.
workshop, something that helps them learn. We just actually had it took her about 9 months. We had our first student complete that.
Okay.
It's not a quick challenge. This is something that could take a couple of years for a student to do. And this project is so much fun to see, and everything gets verified through the app. So they're submitting pictures, videos of them actually trying everything from loading dishwashers to interviewing people in the community to like doing robotics projects or going and visiting a college or And there we've kind of partnered with different groups and other things. It's a pretty cool
That's
thing
really,
that
really
we've
neat.
built
Yeah.
out, and so I see that growing a lot here as we
Yeah.
continue to kind of build it out.
Wow. So what I heard you say is that really the center, if you sum it up in a nutshell, it is a scenario where individuals, I'm sorry, that is me. My girls just got it. No, it is a place where community is built, right? It's community among the students, it's community between adults, adult mentors and students. It's a community even between, and correct me if I'm wrong, but older students and younger students
Yes.
where there's some mentoring there as
Yes.
well,
Yep,
right?
absolutely.
And so I think one thing that maybe the public would ask is there with a lot of programs there are income limitations, there are expectations, things like that. Does your program have any of those kind of things? Expectations, limitations, income verification, any of that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we chose to keep it simple.
Yes.
All of our programs have zero cost to students.
Okay.
We didn't want any barriers to
Yep.
kids being involved in it. And that's kind of how we like it. What we do try to do is when students do get to benefit from the programs over time, we ask them to put some skin in the game and get involved, and for them to participate in helping. So
With their time and talents.
exactly.
Yes.
And so that's where the leadership programs come from. And
Yes.
we're bringing students along to kind of, we see this a lot with our high school leadership team where they were middle school students that benefited from the program. And they're like, I see what those students got to do and I benefited from this. And now I get to turn around and help give back to students that are younger than me.
Yes.
I love that, and we get to see that happen, and so that's what we ask
Yes.
for them. We ask them to buy in
Sure.
other ways, but we
Yeah.
don't ask them families to pay for it at all. There's no cost.
So if individuals out there have a student that maybe would benefit from the programs, or at the very least just are curious about what the center is and things to that effect, is that something that they can just show up at one of these programs, or?
Yeah, so it depends on which program
Sure,
it is,
sure.
but there's usually somebody that can kind of help point them in the right
Yeah.
direction if they
Yeah.
do want to show up.
Okay.
We do have registrations just so that we know how to, have emergency procedures,
Yeah.
contact with families and gather some information.
Sure.
And then we obviously have to, we have some requirements where we've got to track,
Yep.
for
the protection of
is
everybody.
correct.
And,
And obviously we're asking the community to give quite a bit of money to support what we're doing so that we can offer these programs
Yes,
for
for
free.
free.
And then that helps us to give them some return on their investment,
Yeah.
some good data, and
Sure.
and talk to them about the stories and the influence that we're able to have as well. So
Perfect segue.
yeah.
How is the center funded?
Yep. So, in terms of the nonprofit world, it's pretty traditional
Yep.
model. We have some grant partners that love what we're doing
Yeah.
and get involved in that. We have the community giving, so individuals and families give to us. Sometimes it's yearly. We have people that give on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
Churches, businesses, service clubs, it's just again people that see what we're doing and
Yeah.
say, I want to give back to help young people have these opportunities.
Sure.
And that's the main method. We have a little bit of what we call non-charitable giving, some facility rental, some things like that
Yeah.
come in, but not a lot of that.
Gotcha.
And so it's grants, and then the community support what we do.
Yeah.
And then that's how we're able to offer the programs
Right.
that we have for kids for free.
So obviously something that I love doing, and something I think a lot of the community does love doing, is being a part of the cook-off. You want to talk maybe for a moment about the cook-off itself,
Yeah.
because that's a big, probably your primary fundraiser,
It is our
right?
only fundraiser.
It's your only
that we do.
fundraiser. Okay.
Yep. And it raises about 1/10 of our income every
Wow.
year. So it does really well, and it gives us an opportunity to kind of update the community on celebrating things that happened over
Yeah.
the last year and tell people about what we're doing. It's a good
Yeah.
way to introduce new people to who we are and what we
Sure.
do. And essentially every spring We get 3 cooking teams that
Mhm.
come in and prepare 3-course meals, and everybody gets to try out, appetizers, entrees, and
Mhm.
desserts, and then they vote for their favorites. So it's kind of a
Yep.
fun event that people get to come and enjoy. We had over 450 people there last
Mhm.
year. It is amazingly, it's grown every
Every
year. It
year.
blows me
I was
away.
gonna say, I feel like we have about this much room in between the tables
Yeah,
now.
no, we are maxed out. We've had
Yes.
a waiting list
Yes.
4 or 5 years in a row, and we
Yes.
eventually are able to get everybody in by the time we
Yep.
have cancellations. But
Mhm.
we've had a waiting list for 4 or 5 years, and
Wow.
so that's been a blessing to us. And
Yeah.
it's worked out and made sense for us, even though it's a ton of work.
That is so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah,
Let's see. I think we kind of talked about the programs provided.
yeah.
Age of population. Let's talk a little more in depth about that because I know you talked about middle and high school. Are those the only two real demographics?
Yeah,
Or okay,
it's that has kind of traditionally been our
bread and butter, if
bread
you
and
will.
butter,
Yeah,
and then we got to a point where we high school challenges and problems started to become middle school challenges and
Oh,
problems, and middle
yes.
school challenges and problems were coming in at elementary, and
Elementary. Yeah.
we just said we need to go upstream and
Mm,
find ways to serve a little sooner. So we have added some elementary
yeah.
opportunities locally, through some partnerships
Mm-hmm.
with an organization that was
Sure.
already doing really good work, and
Yep.
why would we reinvent the wheel?
Sure.
So we just
Right.
found a way to bring them here
Gotcha.
and collaborate pretty
Very neat.
in a pretty healthy way.
Yeah.
And so we elevated first through 12th grade is kind of our
Sure.
sweet spot.
Wow.
That's the kids we're serving.
That's very
And we
cool.
served 1,407 students last year.
Jeez.
So which is
That's amazing.
which is crazy
Yes.
because in 2019 that was 392.
Oh
So
my
we've
gracious.
had 400%
So then we're at
growth
that.
since 2019. Yeah, it's been wild.
So before we keep going, I think there was a question here. Let's see.
Okay.
One of the questions is this, I'll just make sure I got it. Yeah. Is this where is it? There we go. Is this religion based, or is this a religious based organization? Are the programs religious based, etc.?
Yeah. So great question. We are a faith-based organization.
Mm-hmm.
We do have spiritual development programs that
Mm-hmm.
are specifically geared that way. But we also have programs that don't have that as
It's
a
not
part of what
programmed
it
in.
is.
Yes.
It's correct.
Yes.
So the reason for that is we want to serve young people with no strings attached.
Yeah.
We welcome kids of all stripes, whether they think the way we think,
Mhm.
believe what we believe, and
Mhm.
we're happy to do that.
Yeah.
And so what we wanted to do was give opportunities for every student, if they wanted to connect and evolve in
Sure.
whatever way they want, wherever they're at.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though we do have spiritual development opportunities, it's always voluntary.
Yeah.
There's no bait and switch.
Mhm.
Nobody's pressuring anybody to do so.
Yep.
If kids want to do that, then
Mhm.
the door is there for them to do that. And,
Yeah.
and we want to be available to help kids grow and
Mhm.
think about faith as a part of who they are,
Yes.
and to do that. But we have lots of kids that never engage with that, and we're fine to continue
Yeah.
to love and care for those
Mhm.
kids, whether they step into those spaces
Yep.
or not. So
Sounds like it's a foundational, right? Like you're building a foundation with these students to make sure that their needs are met in lots of ways. And if they want to do, let's say the faith-based route, there is an option
They
for
have that
that. But
option.
ultimately, the goal of the center is really focused on ensuring that they're a well-rounded person
Yeah.
for life,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's what's so cool about the different programs, especially as again going back to the cook-off, you know the fact that you have individuals that are participants in the center that are serving the meal, if you will, to people, that they're cleaning up tables, they're offering drinks, they're doing those kind of things, but you can see just how mature they are in those scenarios, right? And I think a lot of that is they wouldn't get those opportunities to develop that maturity except for programs like the center.
Yeah.
And again, it's not just maturity, but just in general, growing as a person when society kind of is pushing the opposite way,
Yeah.
you know, and so I think that's a really, really cool thing. Something that actually yesterday with the open house that you had, something that literally sparked
Yeah.
in the center.
Yeah.
Ba-bum. Tell us about a fire.
Yeah.
Tell us about the fire.
Yep. In last summer, 2025, we had a dehumidifier catch fire in the basement, and unexpected morning. I was actually on my way into the office when it started, and I got here, and the building was full of smoke. The fire actually was pretty small and limited because thankfully we live right across the street from the fire station.
I think Terry, the maintenance guy, ran across
He
the
literally
street.
ran across the
Yes.
street. He figured it was quicker to walk over than to get on the
Than to
phone
call.
and try to get
Yes.
it. So they were over there immediately. And so the fire didn't do a lot of damage, but the smoke, it was unbelievable. We have a 15,000 square foot building, and it started in the basement, and it was all the way clear to the opposite side of the building, had filled the entire gymnasium, kitchen, so the smoke damage was pretty widespread. So that was unexpected and pretty disruptive to our year. We had to have some temporary housing for our programming, and the school system was great and opened up some space for us to move out for a couple of months and run some programming off site while we could get part of our building back. And then we just transitionally, as each segment of the building got redone, we were able to kind of move into a new space. But it was a much bigger project than any of us expected it to be.
I can imagine.
So not a fun journey the last year to kind of go through the renovation project, but we, on this side of it, now have a beautifully re-renovated space. And so we were able to have an open house to let people come in and check it out last night, and it went really well.
And that is kind of the definition of taking a challenge and creating opportunity, right? I mean, you know, as I walked through there, and it was really cool that you guys had the VR set so you could see what it looked like right after the fire. And then to take the VR set off and going, oh man, look at how different it is, and how you were able to utilize the space, at least in my opinion, utilize the space to meet more of the needs of those students, right?
That was the opportunity they gave us, is to kind of revision, like, okay, how do we want to use this space going forward? And we were able to completely revision some of those spaces, especially in the basement, and it's now such a much more multifunctional space. Lots of relational spaces, lots of kind of learning spaces that I think is going to get a lot of use for a lot of years now.
That's so neat. We did have another question that said, can the children take the school bus to your location?
So again, it depends on the program, but for example, our after school programs, actually the school already, and has from day one said, hey, we'll help build the center as a stop, and for the kids that are registered, and obviously with parent permission first, can they hop on a specific bus that leaves the middle school and brings them over and drops them off at our site. And we have that same thing where we shuttle kids from Whitco Junior Senior High over to our program site in Whitco as well. So yes.
So that's definitely an opportunity. And thanks for those questions. If you have more questions for Jeff, please put them in the chat if you're live here on our Facebook program. Let's talk about growth real quick, and what kind of growth has occurred. We talked about 20 some years ago to now. I mean, it's probably probably at its core, it's the same, but a completely different plethora of programs that are offered than what it was a long time ago. So talk about the growth, not only in population, but also the programs, and just, can you ever imagine that at the start, would you ever imagine it's where it's at today?
No, it is, I think, far exceeded kind of what my mind had envisioned about what it could be in the beginning, which has been a fun journey to figure out. Like I mentioned, like just in the last 6 years since 2019, our student engagement has gone up 400%. Some of that's because we added elementary opportunities. We have started a couple of new endeavors, but also the stuff that we were already doing, those
Mhm.
programs have grown
Yeah.
demonstrably as well. So it's been growth across the board.
Sure.
And really the programs that weren't as thriving as we would want them to be, they don't exist because we if it's not working, we
Yeah.
don't do it, you
Yeah.
know. And
Pivot,
so
right?
it looks differently than it looked like in the early years.
Yeah.
Missionally, nothing's changed. Our DNA is the same. It's just kind of how we work it out because in the end, if it doesn't work for students, it doesn't work for us. And so
Yeah.
we will do what we got to do to find ways to connect with kids, and whatever that takes
Yeah.
to do it. So,
There's and I would imagine with when you're working with students, it is an ever changing benchmark, right? I mean, again, because I think at least what I'm seeing with my own daughter, the technology upkeep of students is so much quicker than what it was for us, if you will, it's so interesting that I've got to imagine that with a place that serves youth, is focused on youth, engages youth, that I mean, you almost have to be really diligent about keeping up with what is the latest thing happening, and while you're not on the bleeding edge, you still have to keep up because of the population you serve.
yeah. Yeah.
So I've got to admit,
We
yeah,
have to pay attention to it,
yes,
and we use whatever tools
yeah,
are available that help us do our job
sure,
better and be good at it. And then obviously we're trying to help young people learn how to discern what's a healthy use of
yes,
technology and what's
yes,
not, and we're trying to give them experiences
yeah,
outside of that
hmm,
those technological spaces as well.
yeah,
That would probably have been more just getting them outdoors, getting
hmm,
them just trying new things
yeah,
and figuring out what do they
yeah,
enjoy, what are they good at,
yeah,
and exposing them to
hmm,
kind of a bigger, broader world,
yeah,
which is fun to do and I think really important for their development as well.
sure,
Because it's hard to envision what their future can be like if their worldview is this big, you
yes,
know.
yes,
So yeah, we again not it's near impossible to keep up with
yeah,
everything, but we do have to pay attention to what they're connecting with
yeah,
and seeing and
yeah.
hearing and
So
being part.
so for all those people that are like, kids are, they never go outside, they never do any of this stuff. They're always on their devices and things like that. This is a great example of how you guys have really blended the opportunity to not only be out and serve and be in community and use those kind of basics or learn and use those basic skill sets, but also to say there is an appropriate use of technology along the way
Yeah, of
here. And
course.
so
Yeah,
it's not sitting in front of your game for 4 hours at a time, but it is, hey, let's use this app to build those life skills over time. So
yeah,
that's a really cool thing.
yeah.
Okay, so as we kind of wrap up again, last opportunity for those that are watching live. If you have questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat. If someone has questions and is interested in helping out, how can they contact you? How can they become, maybe if they have a passion for mentoring kids and they didn't know about this or this is a brand new thing for them? How do they get in touch with you and with the center?
Yeah. So probably the easiest way is to go to our website, which is the center WCY Whitley County
Okay,
Youth.com.
thecenterwcy.com.
Yep, there's a get involved button at the top of it,
Yes.
and that'll get you started. And you can through email or through phone can
Mhm.
reach out, or that there's even some kind of volunteer direction.
Yeah.
But even just it's a good way to just kind of get an overview of
Yeah.
kind of what does the center do
Mhm.
is at that website, and
Yes.
then but what you could call in as
Mhm.
well. We're happy to talk with people and or for that matter, if you stop in,
Yeah.
um, we may not always have somebody around, but if you stop in and we've got somebody there, there's somebody there usually
Yeah.
can kind of help point you in the right direction to
Yes.
get connected and figure out if there's a good fit.
And of course, you'll always take donations, financial donations, right? And other
Absolutely.
donations, of course.
Yeah, I mean, if you can imagine 400% growth in the number of students we're serving, what have we had to do to adjust to be able to serve
Yes.
at that expanded level?
Yes.
All of our costs have gone up because we've had
Mhm.
to add people. We've had to add programs,
Mhm.
we've had to expand spaces to
Yes.
reach these kids.
Yes.
So costs have
Yes.
gone up a lot. And so the community is great, but the need is
Mhm.
still absolutely there. And we're still catching up with the
Yes.
growth of that, honestly.
What I think what's so neat though about this, and you know, you're very humble about this, but I think what's so cool about the center is that and with other programs too, but with the center especially, is that you guys do a really good job, number one, of stretching that dollar till it squeaks. But number two, and maybe more importantly, is the return on investment is not as tangible in the short term, but in the long term, dramatically tangible, right?
Yeah.
Like the lives that are being changed at the center with even just the basic life skills that are being taught there is exponentially important for our community, for our state, certainly for our world.
Yeah. Well, I've been here long enough, so the one of the gifts of that is that I've seen the cycles
Mm-hmm.
happen, and I've been able to see kids come in as sixth graders,
Yes.
and then now I'm going out to lunch with them as adults.
As adults, yes.
So I know that I've seen the life
Yes.
change, but we also do a lot of work with data and surveying.
Yes.
So we know what we're doing is
Mhm.
working
Mhm.
because kids are telling us that it's working. Parents are telling us that it's working.
Very cool.
So we've got the data that's telling
Yes.
us that this is what's working, but it's also, I know that it's working because I've seen it
Yeah.
happen personally.
Yes.
So
And in that March, April time frame, I think it's usually April when you have the cook off. If you are able to attend that, I know you guys are always looking for table sponsors
Yeah.
and to fill a table and stuff. But what I think is so cool about that, yes, the food's great. Yes, the camaraderie is wonderful. Of the award giving and all the things that happen there. But the most impactful part is to hear the stories from the students' mouths about how the center has legitimately transformed their lives. And I think that's just such a cool thing that I encourage if you don't know anything about the center, if this is your first introduction, or if you maybe knew a little bit and you'd be interested in attending that, I'm sure they would love to get you hooked up on a mailing list that says, hey, center cook-off's coming, you need to be there, or hey, here's some mentoring opportunities or things like that. So anything else that the public should know about you or the center or anything else that we have not covered?
honestly, I think we've kind of covered.
We've been around the world a
covered
little
the
bit
gist
here,
of things, so
yes.
yeah, appreciate
Yes.
you having me on.
Great. Well, thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it. And again, if you have interest in finding out more about the center or getting involved, it's the Center WCY, right? The Center WCY.com. And you can sign up and get all kinds of information and all that kind of stuff. So thank you, sir.
Great.
Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
And we'll look forward to seeing you across the street.
All right.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. So, okay. So if you can go and get your stuff, and thank you. Appreciate that very much. So we're going to touch on a whole bunch of different additional programs and project updates that are happening in the city. That is, there are some that I have a lot of updates on. There are some that I don't. So I'll try my best here. But railroad crossing, I don't have any updates on that. I know it's still being hung up by the actual railroad company, so to be determined on that. Just make sure. Yes, I hope I didn't miss any questions. I don't see any. So that is railroad crossing for the Blue River Trail South project. Whitley County Jail, we are starting negotiations with potential developers. I have a couple of those on our schedule coming up here in a couple of weeks. So that project is certainly not dead. We are having lots of conversations with a couple of different people who have interest in that facility. Eagle Park design is almost done. We are still hoping to break ground this year. We are expecting the GMP, or the guaranteed maximum price, to be delivered to us at the second meeting in September. There will be a council vote for that. So we are hoping that, we know that we are making some definite progress on that. Again, I think I mentioned this last time, but the expected seating capacity, the west side is the smaller part of the amphitheater. It's 350 people, whereas the east side is about 1,800 plus people there. So we're excited about that facility. Again, more to come on that. Stay tuned. I know we're in a waiting game. I'm as antsy as you are. but appreciate your patience on that. Dog park. We are still working on the electronics. We had an issue with vandalism recently. Please help us by if you see something, say something, as always with vandalism. But I will tell you, we are still working on finalizing the dog park. I think when we originally talked about it, I had said by fall. We are not quite at fall yet, so I'm still on track at the moment. But we would ask that while the dog park is still being finalized, please don't utilize it. Thank you in advance for that. Westgate. Phase 3 reconstruction project, as we've been working on there. NIPSCO will be working on the gas line relocation. If it isn't happening already, they had said either this week. Well, originally they had said last week. It didn't happen last week. We're hoping it was this week or next week. So that should be happening now. We are expecting to set up a pre-construction meeting with the firm that's doing the project, Fleming Excavating, in the very near future. Once that happens, then we can have the neighborhood meeting. Sorry for the delay. If you're a resident of Westgate, we've done everything we can do. It's really in NIPSCO's hands, timeline wise, and their delay has created delays when it comes to the actual construction. We're kind of at a weird point now where we're not sure whether or not the project's going to be able to occur this year or if it's going to happen after weather breaks next year, which is super frustrating. But it literally is out of our hands. So we shall see. Downtown project, that's for downtown revitalization. We did receive a draft preliminary engineering report for the downtown revite project. We just got it yesterday, so it's still being reviewed. Again, that project the goal is 2028, could be 29. It really depends on a lot of funding mechanisms, but ultimately it'll be the 100 and 200 block of West Van Buren and the 100 block of North and South Chauncey Street. So kind of the plus sign, if you will, there. And that would include water, sewer, stormwater, electric, streets, curbs, sidewalks, some aesthetic value, things like that. So lots of things that are kind of on the agenda for that. Again, that's a major project that's on the horizon. The last time we had a downtown revitalization project, it was in the mid-90s. So our downtown, as you well know, is thriving from a business perspective, but the infrastructure is tired, and it's time for us to make some adjustments. Plus, again, those underground utilities of water and sewer and stormwater, those things are obviously 30 plus years old now. Not to mention that we have water lines in downtown Columbia City that are over 100 years old. And so when those break, we have to tear up the asphalt, all those kind of things. So when we go and do this project, we would do complete renovation and overhaul of water, sewer, stormwater, etc., to make sure that our brand new downtown wouldn't have to be dug up in the near future. So that's kind of the plan of action for that. By the way, if you have any questions regarding any of the things I'm talking about, please go ahead and put those in the comments if you're watching live on Facebook. Miscellaneous things, please sign up for the rave alerts. Again, I know I say this every single time, but I think it's really, really important. If you want to stay up to date on what's happening in the city, what's happening from the parks perspective, lunch with the mayor, different meetings, emergency situations, things like that, please sign up for rave alerts. You can go to our city website at columbiacity.net and you can sign up for rave alerts. There's a little part right under the initial large picture. There's a column there, if you will, that you can sign up for rave alerts. The next limb pickup is just happened. So the next limb pickup is in the week of September 1st. So we have, I think, 2 more limb pickups left before we hit leaf season. So our street department will be transitioning over to leaf season in the middle of in the middle of October. Yes, so that means we have 2 more limb pickups left. Leaf pickup is actually scheduled to start the week of October 26th. So I know that there are maybe some leaves falling, but the majority of leaves aren't falling quite yet. If we get a pretty good drought here in the near future, I would imagine they'll drop soon. If not, then we'll see kind of what the temperatures do. But nevertheless, leaf pickup is scheduled to begin the week of October 26th. It will not happen before that, just so you're aware. So further, as we start to transition toward school and fall, today is the last weekday for the Aquatic Center. Again, weekday. We will have the Aquatic Center open for the next couple of weekends, but the weekdays end today. Today is the last weekday, and the reason for that is next Wednesday school starts. So we have the majority of our lifeguards are, if they're not back at school yet, they're getting ready to go back to school. So it is something where, obviously, from a staffing level, as well as from a individuals actually being at the pool, that is what's happening. So again, today's the last weekday for the Aquatic Center. Today, meaning Friday, and the last official day of the Aquatic Center being open is August 23rd. August 23rd. Okay. A couple of other things before we get to events. You may have noticed on our Columbia City Facebook page, I was honored to host many people, like I think it was 40, 50, 60 people from across the state of Indiana here for an AIM Board of Directors event. If you did not know, this is a little thing they give to people, but here it is. I am the 2026 AIM, which stands for Accelerate Indiana Municipalities. I am the 2026 president for that organization. That is effectively the representative for all cities and towns across the state of Indiana. And so the president always gets to host individuals in the city, in their home city, get to host all the board of directors and sponsors, etc. So we got to spend some time in downtown Columbia City last Wednesday night, where they ate at our restaurants, and then we went out to Eagle Glen and we did a kind of a no risk casino night with fake money and all that kind of stuff. And then on Thursday morning, I hosted the board of directors actual meeting that we had there. And $0 came from taxpayers. $0 came from taxpayers. It all came from sponsors, and so appreciate all the sponsors. Also appreciate the restaurants that participated. We had trolley tours of downtown. Excuse me. And so got to show off our different parks and our schools and our downtown and our neighborhoods and things like that. That was great. We had so many comments from people from Northwest and Central and Southern Indiana, just talking about how beautiful our community is and how great it is, and how what a nice community we have. And so it's always great to get an outsider's perspective of what our community looks like. Not to mention, we're able to infuse a fairly good amount of money into our downtown and into our community for that event. So appreciate all the sponsors, appreciate all the people that were a part of that and participate in that, as well as again Eagle Glen, who hosted us multiple times, and just thankful for so many of our my fellow municipal officials from across the state who were willing to make the trek up to Northeast Indiana and were a part of that event. So thanks for everybody that participated in that. A little note on that, we did make some temporary changes to Oakey Alley. I had mentioned previously that there were some changes that were coming. We did make some of those changes. The lanterns that are up now, the wooden structures that are now gone, the new tables that are in, things like that. If you've not checked out Oakey Alley, we did make some changes there at Oakey Alley to kind of open it up a little bit more, make it a little bit more welcoming, a little more, I don't know, just make it a little bit better. I will tell you that though that is a temporary display, there will be additional changes that are coming. Those additional changes just have been hung up a little bit from a timing perspective. So they are coming, but in the meantime, the temporary display that's up right now, I think it's a really cool example of being flexible with the space, but also recognizing the Japanese heritage of Shinzo Oki, whose namesake is for that alley, if you will. So, last and not least, but something that I think most people are, I shouldn't say most, some people are really excited about. It's one of my favorite seasons of the year, but that is fall and trick or treat. So, at a previous Board of Works meeting, we had the vote for trick or treat day and hour. For those of you that are traditionalists, you will be so excited to hear that October 31st falls on a Saturday this year. So, October 31st from 5 to 8 p.m. in downtown, or sorry, not just downtown, throughout Columbia City, we are going to host our trick or treat hour. So, again, mark your calendars, October 31st, 5 to 8 p.m. That is trick or treat in Columbia City. We just put a post on that out at on our Columbia City page, and it's something that people look forward to. I started getting questions about that in June. Not to the surprise of many people, you've heard me say that before, but yes, we have trick or treat happening October 31st, 5 to 8 p.m. This year, 2026. A lot of questions today. So if you do have questions, please put them in the chat. Here's upcoming events. Tonight, First Friday. It is, I think, a carnival atmosphere, if I remember correctly. So that's happening downtown Columbia City, 6 to 9 p.m. Always a wonderful time. Yes, there's some rain in the forecast at the beginning of the event, but it's supposed to be tapered. The chances taper off pretty significantly after that. So if at first it's raining, give it a moment, and then come downtown. It's going to be a great event. Shouldn't be too hot. Maybe a little humid because of the rain, but it's going to be a great night, as it always is, for First Friday. Thanks to Columbia City Connect for all your work on those events. August 10th, we have the Babe celebration from 6 to 8 p.m. That is celebrating, I believe, the cutest kids contest of some sort. That is happening. I just remembered I need to look something up. So bear with me for a moment here because I forgot something on the calendar. So anyway, 6 to 8 p.m. Babe is having a celebration at their building here on West Van Buren Street. That's on August 10th. August 11th is the Board of Works and City Council meetings. As always, Board of Works is 5 o'clock. City Council 6 p.m. on the second floor of City Hall in the City Council chambers. Second and fourth Tuesdays of the month, typically. August 12th is the first day of school for Whitley County Consolidated Schools. Congratulations to all those parents. You have finally made it. You are in the last week, full week of summer break. Summer break ends officially Tuesday night of next week. So Wednesday, first day of Whitley County Consolidated Schools. Teachers, thank you for your dedication and your hard work for our students. I want you to know that our community is proud of you, thankful for you. We believe in you. We have your back. We're so excited to have another great year of school. For students, I wish you the best this coming year, that you will build great relationships, learn well, stay out of drama, and continue to grow in your knowledge and yourself and your relationships and all those kind of great things. For all the other staff, whether it's kitchen staff, bus drivers, administration, etc., thank you for your part in making our community a little better today than we were yesterday through our students. So thank you for all of that. Let's see. This Saturday, see, I knew I would skip over it. Saturday, August 8th, from 10 to 12 p.m., 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. near Morsha's Park Pavilion. There is Animalgrams, and the Parks Department are presenting Barnyard Petting Farm. Again, that's this Saturday, August 8th, from 10 a.m. to noon. I guess that's tomorrow officially. I know pony rides are $5, but everything else, it's a free admission to the petting zoo, if you will. Farm animals, small pets, full animals, etc. Again, that is near Morsha's Parks Pavilion. So you can go ahead and go on down to Morsha's Park. Let's get back on my. That's not it. There we go. Okay, again, question. If there's, let's see, there is some questions here. Rob, I apologize if I missed your questions along the way there. Is this Hank Workman started? I don't know that Hank Workman had started that, Rob. I think Hank was started a church that was utilizing that facility. I think, if I remember right, as well as the forklift, which again is kind of pseudo connected, but I think it's just pseudo connected because of space. Again, I apologize if I missed that when you asked that when Jeff was here. But forklift also does happen on Monday evenings, again at the center. Is there any place we can take bushes here in town? Rob asked. The short answer is no. The longer answer is, if you're a city resident and you are trying to dispose of those bushes, if you cut off the roots, you can put those bushes for limb pickup. We do pick up bushes that do not have roots with our limb pickup program. So hopefully that helps, Rob. August 15th and 16th, the 72nd annual Mitzvah Shrine Charity Horse Show is happening at the Shrine Horse Grounds from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. August 16th, Andy's Car Wash turns 55 years old. They're having an anniversary celebration. August 20th, 2026, Whitley County Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center is hosting a golf outing. Birdies, Beers, and Barbecue at Eagle Glen. That's start time of 9 a.m. I believe you do have to register for that. August 20th, there's a free naloxone or Narcan, if you want to call it that, training event at Peabody Public Library from 6 to 7:30 p.m. August 25th, Empowering Whitley Women's Series is at the Woodlands Senior Center. That's from 6 to 7:30 p.m., although it's not specifically for seniors. It is for all women, I believe. August 29th, there's a Fall Kids pop-up event in downtown Columbia City, 8 a.m. to noon. I believe registration is needed for that. September 4th is our next Lunch with the Mayor program, so mark your calendars for September 4th. September 4th is also First Friday and Movie on the Square. If you did not see my announcement, the voters voted and overwhelmingly chose The Princess Bride. So it is not inconceivable to me, because I personally love The Princess Bride. However, I showed no bias in that poll. It was overwhelmingly Princess Bride selected by residents. So 8:30. We are going to start at a half an hour earlier this year than we typically do. We used to start at 9 p.m. Now we're starting at 8:30 p.m. And that's really for two reasons. Number one, it is dark enough to have it at that time. But number two, and I don't know if I'll say more importantly, but as importantly, is that it makes it end a half an hour earlier so people can get home and get adjusted. I think The Princess Bride, generally speaking, is not only well loved and well known, but is also fairly tame when it comes to movies. It's certainly not a cartoon movie. It's certainly not a Disney movie per se, but it is if you have lived under a rock and have never seen The Princess Bride, highly recommend. I would say definitely top 15 movies of history, of movie history, in my opinion. But nevertheless, great movie. Starts at 8:30. Movie on the Square. It is in conjunction with Columbia City Connect in their First Friday event. So mark your calendars. 8:30 p.m. September 4th. September 7th is Labor Day, so City Hall will be closed. September 11th is the 7th annual City Auto Mall Cornfield Cruise-In from 6 to 9 p.m. Again, you can get more information on their website and Facebook. September 12th is the Cam Run 2.8 Run Walk and 5K for Riley Hospital for Children. That starts at the Fire Museum at 9 a.m. Again, more information there. September 12th, Columbia Township 75th anniversary celebration at the Columbia Township Fire Department. That's 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. September 12th is also Prism Fest in downtown Columbia City. Starts at 3 p.m. September 26th is the Public Safety Festival in downtown Columbia City. That is from 9 to noon. As you know, our office, in conjunction with our police and firefighters, we typically put that on with many other individuals who are a part of that a part of that event. Great opportunity to bring your kids, have them learn a little bit about some public safety and some things like that. get a. I think there's a fire training course, and there's usually we usually have our canine out there, and we have EMS, and there's all kinds of things like that. So bring your kiddos down to Public Safety Festival, downtown Columbia City, 9 to noon on September 26th. And again, keep in mind that throughout this whole time frame, on Saturday mornings we have the farmers market that's happening out there. I think that end of September is toward the end of their season. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it is. October 2nd is the final first Friday of 2026. So that's October 2nd as a normal time frame. October 17th, 260 Showdown at the Shrine Grounds. That is a car show and, well, sort of a car show and like a show and shine kind of scenario. So anyways, you can get more information on there. But that is at the Shrine Ground, starts at 10 a.m. Tickets, I think, are needed for that. October 22nd is another lunch with the mayor, and October 31st, as I mentioned, is trick or treat from 5 to 8 p.m. At the moment, I am not seeing any additional questions. So this is your last chance, since it is 1 o'clock right now. This is your last chance to ask questions. So again, as we enter into this late summer, early fall season, I just want to encourage you, stay safe out there, be cognizant of students that are at bus stops as we prepare for the school season, be cognizant of the of kids that are going to school, walking to school, walking home from school, riding their bikes out, things, all that kind of stuff. Help us to make the end of summer and the beginning of school year be very safe. As a reminder, if buses are stopped and they have their stop sign out, you shall not pass. You shall not pass. It is illegal to pass. Even if you don't see kids out there, know that there's a possibility that they could be crossing the street. We really want to make sure the school year is one without tragedy. So please help us with that. And I guess lastly, I'll just say thank you for continuing to make our community better each day. We have so many great things happening. I know there is a lot of negativity out there. I know that you probably feel it. I feel it as well. I just want to reassure you from the bottom of my heart that that you know that your local government, your City of Columbia City government, is working hard each and every day to make life a little better here in Columbia City. There's a lot of skepticism out there, a lot of callousness, things like that. People that feel like government is against them. I want you to know that I am for you. I am for this community. When I'm done with this term, I don't plan to leave this community. This is my home, and I want to do everything we can to make Columbia City better today than we were yesterday, and better tomorrow than we are today. So thank you for being a part of that. Thank you for continuing to choose Columbia City to be your home. I don't have a whole lot of updates on the different developments yet. We are working on lots of those things. I believe Five Below is like on the getting ready, like they're hiring people. So I think that's getting ready to be open. Some things like that. I don't have a whole lot of new information about like EggSpot or anything like that. I think they're also hiring people. So long story short is thanks for being a part of our community and for working to make Columbia City better tomorrow than we are today. So thanks everybody. We have a wonderful August and a wonderful beginning of school. And we will see you the next time, which again is September 4th. Thanks everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.